So you're thinking about moving out here to Sacramento, California, or maybe you're just kind of curious if it's still affordable. Well, that's perfect because that's exactly what I'm going to take you through today. We're going to discuss the price of homes, the average cost of bills, what it costs to have a little bit of fun out here in Sacramento and the surrounding areas. Now, if this is your first time to the channel, and you want to know everything there is to know about living here in Sacramento and the surrounding suburbs, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. That way you can be the first to know about all the important information and, of course, the market here in Sacramento. I'm Reese, real estate broker and Sacramento expert, and I've lived in this area my entire life. My team and I, we love helping people relocate here to Sacramento. Whether you're just relocating or possibly investing, doesn't matter if it's 9 days or 9 months from now, feel free to reach out. All of our contact information is down below in the description. We'd love to help you make a smooth move here to Sacramento. So go ahead and grab your coffee or your beverage. Let's get into it. Well, first off, why Sacramento? We are the capital. We're just minutes away from wine country. It's a bit of an exaggeration, a little further than minutes, but we're just minutes away from wine country, and we're just like 2 hours away from both Tahoe and San Francisco. If you're coming from the Bay Area or Los Angeles, you're gonna feel like you hit the housing lottery. But let's go ahead and take a look at what it really costs. All right, so let's talk about really your biggest expense here, and that's going to be housing. Here we're on Google Maps, and you can see Sacramento. It's kind of a pretty large area. If we're talking like Midtown, it's pretty pricey. You can see kind of the Midtown area here. You're looking at $2,400 to $3,000 a month for kind of a small apartment. Then we kind of look at, let's say, East Sac, another area that Sacramento is very famous for. So if you're here, be prepared to drop like $900 to $1.2 million for like a little bungalow home. So it's very pricey to be kind of in this Sacramento proper area. There is also quite a few homes that are under 500,000, like maybe in the mid 400s. Now let's jump over here to this other map, and you can see right there 308, 360, 289, 445, 249. So there is a lot of opportunity for maybe some smaller homes or some less sought after neighborhoods where you can get a really affordable home here in Sacramento. Jumping over to let's say about the mid 500s, because that's about the 500 to 600 is kind of the median price here. Neighborhoods like Natomas, where you can find great homes, and that's a great neighborhood, all mid 500s to 600s. We can jump over here and see like Elk Grove, pretty vast area, a lot of new builds in Elk Grove, some older homes, and even some larger lots as well. Kind of jump north a little bit, and we look over here, and we've got Roseville, which is really expanding, has a lot of older homes as well, but a lot of new builds out here in the west side, even some senior communities. Kind of out in that direction, we also have Rockland. So if we take a look out here in Rockland, kind of a smaller area, but very similar to Roseville in that they've got a lot of great new homes mixed with older homes. And Rockland and Roseville and Elk Grove, which I showed you earlier, really sought after areas because of their schools. According to greatschools.com, they rank really high across the country. Some other neighborhoods in that mid-price range, Rancho Cordova here. Yeah, you can see that's pretty large area as well. And it's right next to Folsom over here. So Folsom, which also borders the lake, which is not too far from Roseville. We're kind of right next here to El Dorado Hills, where things get a little bit pricey. And Folsom, probably a little higher than the mid 500s, probably mid 600s. But lots of great opportunity of housing. That's pretty much, what they cost for like mid-size, family homes out in this area. Let's talk about a few stories, a few of our clients that we've helped. All right, so first off, let's talk about the Azures. They scored a great home for $630 here in the Roseville area. They're over in this area in the West Roseville area. It was $630, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, brand new home, 1900 square feet. So a fantastic opportunity there for the Azures. A couple of other opportunities I want to share with you here. What we're looking at here is the Nguyen's. They are just outside this Elk Grove area, right in this area right here. They picked up a 2,200 square foot home, 4-bedroom, 3-bath for just $575, and they're in that Elk Grove school district, which is really highly sought after. All right, let's take a look at one more here. So some really young kids, first time home, and they were out here kind of the east area of Rancho Cordova. They scored a brand new home for their first home. Truly amazing, very young kids. It was 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, brand new. It was almost house, just under 2,000 square feet. I think they paid $630 for that one. Lots of opportunity. These were all great homes, a little above the median price, but just some great families that we've helped recently that I thought I'd share with you. I guess what's really important to note here is that, all of my clients that are relocating from places like Bay Area or LA or Hawaii or New York, they're shocked at the purchasing power that they have here in Sacramento and the surrounding areas. And I guess another component of housing costs is property taxes. So in California, it's 1%, usually factor in about 1.1% for some of those like extra little street assessments and things like that. 1% of the purchase price, I should say. Now, let's not forget some of the newer areas, they're going to have a Melrose tax, which shows up on your tax bill. That goes to fund like parks and schools and things of that nature. It could be anywhere from $200 to $400 a month. And they can last like 20, 25 years, something like that. Sometimes faster, sometimes they get extended. Now, just an additional cost to consider when buying a home, whether you buy in an existing neighborhood which doesn't have Melrose or one of those brand new neighborhoods that does. And then, sometimes on top of property taxes, Melrose, if it's a newer area, some areas are in association, so they have homeowner association dues, maybe $50, $100 a month. Sometimes they're more. It just really depends on the amenities that are offered, like if they have a community pool and like a rec center and a gym. That's the kind of stuff that you really find common in like condo developments. Another important component of cost of living is going to be like utility, power, your gas, your water, garbage and sewer, things like that. Electricity for let's say an average, up to like 2,000 square foot home. You're looking at somewhere around $200 to $500 a month because Sacramento gets hot. So that's going to be more the summer months. You're going to be running your AC a lot. So $200 to $500. If you're in Placer County, an area that's got PG&E, probably going to be a little more than that. You'll probably want to look into solar if that's the case. You're going to have a garbage and sewer. That's going to run you about, let's say, another $150 a month for the two combined. There's, water metering in many areas here in Northern California, Sacramento and the surrounding areas. And, that could be, $50 to $100 a month as well. You're going to want to probably have a good high-speed internet. Depending on who you go through and what's available, that's maybe another, $50 to $90 a month. Average home under 2,000 square feet, I would budget around, let's say, $500 to $800 a month for your utilities and those local services. And if you're like myself and you like to run the AC 24/7, maybe it's going to go up a little bit. That's what you can expect for utilities. Another major expense, really living anywhere, it's going to be groceries, which is one of my favorite parts of adulting, I guess. But we have many options in the greater Sac area and all the surrounding neighborhoods. Family of four, you expect to spend about $900 a month, maybe more depending on how fancy you get. Let's go ahead and take a look at some options here. First up, look at all these Trader Joe's. If you're a Trader Joe's fan, you've got a ton of them. Let's take a look at Costco's. Costco's, it's a better price, I guess bigger bang for your buck, but very hard on the wallet. So be careful, of course, if you're going to Costco and buy just what you need. But look at how many Costco's we have with all these shopping bags you see on this Google map here. Safeway is another very popular grocery store chain. Let's take a look at the Safeways. And you can see quite a few Safeways in the greater Sacramento area. And we're going all the way out here to way past greater Sac. We're out past Penryn, Lincoln, and go the other direction, and we're into Sacramento here. So plenty of Safeways. Some people really like Whole Foods. There are a few less Whole Foods, as you can see. Whole Foods tends to be a little bit more expensive. If you're like the farmer's market kind of person, family, we've got plenty of those farmer's markets around too. So grocery options are there. For a single person, you're probably going to spend, $300-400 a month. Gallon of milk's a gallon of milk. That's about what it costs for groceries in this greater Sacramento. Another major expense, of course, is going to be transportation. So we are in California here, and we do have some pretty expensive gas taxes. So your average price per gallon is going to be around somewhere between like $4.70 and $5.20 a gallon. So if you're coming from somewhere in the Midwest, I know it's significantly cheaper, but we do have the gas taxes here. Parking downtown is about $1.75 per hour, about $20 a day for a lot. There is light rail, there is public transportation. It's not the major thing here, so I'd be prepared to drive if you're not living and working in downtown. Let's go ahead and take a look at the freeways, and we'll look at the commute times here. So if you're coming from, like Rockland and Roseville area, and you're coming into downtown via Interstate 80, that's roughly a 20-25 minute commute there. If you're going to be coming from Lincoln area and you're going to be coming via 65 to then 80, that can add about 35 minute commute there. Now, if you're coming the other direction, so let's say that you're like in El Dorado Hills, that's kind of right around there, and you're going to be coming up 50. That can be a little bit of a longer commute, so I'd plan on about 35 minutes roughly. If you're higher up here in Placerville, add an extra 10 minutes to that to come up to 50 and get into Sacramento. Now, a lot of people are choosing to live over here in Yolo County, so we're talking like Davis or further out like Woodland. That could be either one of those to get into Sac, taking 5 or 80 directly. Davis about 15-20 minutes. Woodland a little further, 25 minutes or so, 30 minutes maybe. And we can see like over here is West Sacramento, which is in between Davis and Sac. That commute, that's easy peasy. It's just on the other side of the river here. So you're looking at maybe like 10 minutes. Those are your commute times for most of the major areas. Out here in Elk Grove, and you're going to come into Sac. You're going to come up either 5, you're going to come up 99. It just depends on traffic. That could be about a 20-25 minute commute, some days a little bit faster. So that's what you're looking at for drive times. Let's talk about something that's really kind of near and dear to my heart, childcare in schools. Childcare can be a pretty big expense. Full-time care can range anywhere from as little as $1,200 to $1,800, maybe a little bit more. Just depends on the area and the amount, the length of time, and how many days and all that good stuff. We were very fortunate, actually. We ended up buying a home when we first came here next door to a daycare. And it was really funny. My son would often say to his aunts and his grandmas and stuff, he would be like, yeah, I go to school and it's just past the leave. So it was really funny because it was right next door past this giant bush. But anyway, childcare is going to be an expense. And one of the nice things is that many people have that same opportunity. There are a lot of neighborhood daycares and they charge all ranges of different prices. And that's one of the things that you might want to look for once you do find the home that you're going to move into. Let's talk schools, okay? According to gradeschools.com, many of the districts we have here are some of the highest rated in the country. I've mentioned this earlier. Highly touted on gradeschools.com is Folsom and Rockland, Roseville, Elk Grove, of course, El Dorado Hills. These are all very sought after. There are a lot of public and charter schools as well, and those are free. Great opportunities for schools in the greater Sacramento area. We've helped many families choose their homes when they come here based solely on the neighborhood schools and the school districts and stuff, and the research they did on gradeschools.com. Another expense, of course, that you're going to have is healthcare. You'll know what that is if relocating with a job relocation and you're W-2'd and your healthcare is paid for through your work. You're already going to know what that is. But for a self-employed family, $1,200-$1,600 a month for healthcare can be a pretty large expense for you each. When it comes to healthcare, we've got some excellent facilities here, hospitals and emergency care facilities. Let me go ahead and here we have quite a few of the hospitals here in greater Sacramento area. Lots of Kaisers. You can see Mercy and Sutter right here, UC Davis. And of course, let's not forget about the VA Medical Center here in Sacramento for all you veterans. And, emergency room visits, they could run you, maybe $150 a month. It really just depends on your medical plan, of course. But we use Kaiser, that we really love the Roseville facility out here. I was just discussing medical care, medical insurance, and I realized I forgot to tell you about auto insurance. So auto insurance is important. That's really part of your transportation costs. You're looking at, maybe $150, $200 a month, maybe less if you're like an old guy like me. So plan for that in your transportation costs as well. We've discussed all the kind of the have-tos and the expenses that you unfortunately have to pay here, but that's what being an adult's all about, right? Let's get into a little bit about like the entertainment and the fun. We've got tons of restaurants and things out here in all over greater Sacramento and surrounding areas. Now let's say a mid-range, restaurant for two, dinner for two, you're looking at about $80, let's say $90, a little bit more if you're going to have some adult beverages, of course. We have just a ton of breweries, wine tasting rooms, and different pubs and things of that type of atmosphere. So a lot of choice for dining. We also have some fine dining too. That can run you, up to $300 a person if you're going to get really fancy. So you have those options here in greater Sacramento as well. A couple of my favorites are like Ella's. That's in Sacramento. In the Placer County area, we really just love the Chef's Table. It's fantastic. You have to try the dessert, which is brownie. Instead of butter or oil, they use bacon fat, and I'm just telling you, it's amazing. We also have the Golden One Center and other places like that. Golden One Center events, you probably get about $100 to $200 a ticket. They have concerts and, of course, home of the Sacramento Kings. They have monster truck rallies there, all kinds of great things. If you're a baseball fan, we've got lots of baseball going on in Sacramento. Just across the river in West Sacramento, the River Cats. And for the next 3 years, the Oakland A's are playing at Sutter Health Park. You get lawn seats for as little as $16 a ticket. The lawn seats for the A's probably going to be more like $25. Stadium seats run, $25 and up. The better the seating, of course, the more it costs. Parking's going to be somewhere around $30 to $40, $45 a vehicle. And concessions, well, they're pricey anywhere you go. You're probably looking at $16, $17, $18 for a beer. And any kind of food item is going to run you, somewhere between like $15 to like $22 a piece. Some pretty expensive hot dogs, I know. It's the way it is everywhere, right? Now, I don't know if you're into soccer, but it's a fun sport to play and really fun to watch too. The Sac Republic FC, which hopefully are on their way to joining the MLS here soon. Average price for tickets there is about $60. Again, $15 or more for beer. Food items, again, they're the same no matter where you go. But also, and this is expected to be completed in 2027, the Republic FC will be playing at a new stadium that's moving into downtown. And that's expected to seat between 12 and like 16,000 people. Really cool up and coming thing if you are coming here to Sacramento and you like soccer. The last thing I'm really going to discuss here about entertainment. And as some of us don't consider this entertainment, I love the gym, and that's gym cost, gym membership. Gym fees run between as low as like $20 a month for like Planet Fitness or Crunch, up to a couple $100 a month if you're going to join like one of those luxury clubs that have all the amenities. I myself go to the cheaper clubs because I'm just there to work out. Right? But you do have those options all over greater Sacramento area. Really quickly, let's just kind of go over some of those unforeseen hidden costs that you're really going to have anywhere. But here in Sacramento, if you're like parking downtown and you get a parking ticket, you're looking at somewhere around $40 to $50. So make sure you feed the meter or park in a lot. And of course, if you're going to be commuting to like the Bay Area across the toll bridge, that's about $8. You can always get the monthly pass as well. I think that brings the cost down a little bit. And then of course, let's not forget about sales tax. City sales tax, depending on where you're at, like $8.75, could be a little bit lower depending on Rockland versus Sacramento, Roseville, things of that nature, but about 8.75%. So these are all kind of the hidden fees, I guess, or unforeseen fees, but all very manageable if you expect them and know about them. So we've kind of covered a lot of costs here, but let's see how we kind of stack up, because a lot of people will come here to work in the Bay Area and they'll commute from our greater Sacramento area and its surrounding suburbs. So I'm going to share my screen with you one time so you guys can kind of do the math here. So we have Sacramento on the left, Bay Area, San Francisco, Santa Rosa on the right here. And so rent-wise, $2,500 to $2,800 a month in Sacramento compared to $4,200 to $5,000 in the Bay Area. So it gets pretty pricey. But most people are looking to buy. Even if you're not paying a mortgage, if you're just paying rent, you're still paying a mortgage. It's just not your own, right? So let's look at ownership. Ownership here in greater Sacramento area, $450 to $600K for like a median price home. Out in the Bay Area for a very modestly priced home, it's going to cost you about $1.2 million to $2 million. So again, you do the math, what makes the most sense? And that's why we just really love helping people relocate here to Sacramento, because your purchasing power is just so much more. Before I let you go, let me just tell you one more really cool story. So this is another really young couple. They were relocating here from the Bay Area. For what they bought here, they could afford like a garden shed with no roof in San Francisco. So we just found them a really great home in Rancho Cordova, brand new community, $582,000. It's an 1,850 square foot home, 3 bedroom, 3 bath. To be able to afford a brand new home for your first home, it's amazing. And I love being part of those stories. Some really great opportunities here in Sacramento and the surrounding neighborhoods and close by cities and communities. Very affordable prices, and you get a lot for your money here compared to other places in California. And you can still afford to live your life here. So what do you guys think? Is Sacramento or the surrounding areas right for you? Maybe you're just upsizing or downsizing. Maybe you're relocating or investing. Doesn't matter. Don't hesitate to reach out, drop a comment, shoot me a text, call me directly. All my contact information information is down below in the description. And don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button down below. That way you can be the first to get all the important details and updates on what living life here in Sacramento and the surrounding areas is like. And until next time, you guys live well, enjoy life, and I'll see you soon. That's a wrap.